I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Sarah, can you read our mission statement?
The mission of the Marshall Public School District is to educate, support, and prepare all learners for success.
Thank you. Our next item is approval of the agenda.
So move.
Second?
Been a motion by Bill and seconded by Sarah Runcie to approve the agenda. Any additions or corrections? If none, I'll call for the vote. And the agenda is approved. Our next item is our public forum, and I know there's people here that want to speak, so as you come forward, I just want to remind you that a school board meeting is a meeting in public. It's not a meeting with the public, so there won't be any questions asked or answered, no dialogue, but we are here to listen, so that's what we're here for. So welcome whoever is speaking, so. And you'll have approximately 3 minutes, so.
I timed it, so.
Okay. They don't keep you long.
They're all getting their stopwatches out right now.
All right. Well, I'm Zach Schubert. I serve as the principal at True Light Christian School. And thanks for inviting us, in a sense. We're glad to just share a little bit about what's happening at True Light. So we're starting a high school that's starting this fall. And more than anything, we wanted to just communicate with the school board. We have a small community, so we wanted to make sure everybody was kind of aware of what we were doing. We've also enjoyed a good partnership with Marshall Public Schools over the years, and so we want to continue that. Our mission at True Light is to equip children to excel in a life that's pleasing to God, and we kind of look at that 4 ways. One is to anchor them in God's Word. One is to help them to develop Christ-like character. We want to challenge them academically, and then we want to identify their God-given gifts. So that's our mission. You guys read your mission, which is a great mission as well. And so our high school grew out of a strategic plan that we have. We're going to start with 9th and 10th grade next year and then add a grade each year until 12th grade. The main reason for the start of high school, we've had one in the past. The early 90s through the late 90s is when True Light, which was then Marshall Area Christian Schools, had a high school. And during that time, we did have an agreement for activities and sports with Marshall Public Schools. So that was a good partnership that we had during that time. But the main reason we're starting a high school now is just a Christ-centered education. A lot of our families have said, hey, we really like what you're doing through 8th grade. Could you do that through 12th grade as well? But then we're excited for a little different kind of innovative approach to education. We're going to have a learning commons. And most of our classes are going to be taught in person, but we're also going to have some asynchronous classes through North Star Academy. And so students are going to be working in the Learning Commons, going to have flexible seating and great lighting and an opportunity for students to do some community-based learning, help them kind of grow in some of those skills that they're learning also at the high school here at Marshall, just their ability to plan and prioritize and just kind of work through executive functioning skills. So it's going to be a unique opportunity for our learners to do that. So North Star Academy has about 200 plus course offerings that they offer. So partnering with them allows us to start a high school. It'd be really hard if we didn't partner with someone in order to do that. As you know, it's hard to find good teachers in this community and other communities as well. So we, again, just want to thank you for your partnership that we enjoy. Like, special education is one of those areas that is really hard for us to support without the support that we get from you. So that's a great partnership that we've had through Marshall Public Schools. We have some of our learners get supported on site at True Light, and then some of them go to a different school in the Marshall Public Schools to get serviced. And so one of the core values of your current strategic plan says that the Marshall community supports and embraces our educational mission through building and maintaining strong community-based partnerships. So we just feel like one of those partnerships is True Light. It has been. We hope it continues to be that way. And in particular, we're looking to have agreements for activities and athletics through the Minnesota State High School League. So We're going to meet with the Executive Governance Board on April 15th. But again, more than anything, just wanted to make you aware that this is happening. Small community, a lot of people are talking and have talked about something like this. So that's it. Thanks for listening.
Thank you.
Thank you. You're going to put Russ back to work at the high school level? He's a good man.
I'll be the janitor.
Our next item is item number 7, our presentation from our technology team.
And you guys are welcome to stay if you like, but if you'd like to leave it, we wouldn't consider that.
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for coming.
Welcome, Todd.
Yeah, thank you. I think I'll start out too with our technology vision statement. MPS students, parents, and educators will use communication and information technologies to advance learning and teaching in preparation for a technology-rich global society. I'd like to introduce a few individuals that are helping out at various times tonight. Start with Nicholas Esping, if you could raise your hand, district computer technician. Also Kent Powell, district computer technician, and Christopher Schuckart, high school teacher. Almost upgraded. Yeah.
I almost fainted, so.
So each year we do an annual technology survey. The previous program that we used was discontinued, so we were forced to look at a different solution. Unfortunately, that company had some issue with the data, so we weren't able to use a lot of that survey. But there was a couple of items that we were able to use, and I thought I'd share those with you. This is students in grades 3 through 12. One was a question on frequency of technology use in class. And 93% of students responded that that was daily. And Maytech and CTI were included in this, so CTI I don't think uses them daily. So it's kind of skewed by those results. And the other question that we had was internet access at home, and 95% of students responded yes to that. I'll mention that we do have internet hotspots available for those who do not have internet access at home. So if they have questions on that, contact technology.
You've installed a lot of hotspots in town, right?
We have hotspots to check out that they can use. Yep. So we do have a few of those in place.
Are they used quite regularly?
They are used. Yep. Certain families check them out, and we assign them out.
Or at each school?
At each school, they can go to the media center and request those, and we pretty much check them out for the time that they need them. So, yep. So this last year, our largest technology project was refreshing our switching infrastructure. These are the devices that connect everything from computers to wireless access points to servers to phones to HVAC to basically anything that needs to communicate over the network. We deployed 47 new Cisco 48-port switches. That came out to 2,256 ports that all needed to be reconfigured and plugged in each one of the closets. What this did for us was the new switches are higher speed, so it effectively doubled the link from the wireless access point to the network. And it just is newer technology with more features and functionality, higher security, more speed, all of those things. We did this over the course of about 6 weeks, and at this point, I want to recognize the two guys that did most of the unplugging and plugging in and all the heavy lifting when it came to that, and the two guys that I introduced earlier, Nick and Kent. They were complimented by, I worked with a partner that helped with the rollout, And they came on site one day to help with part of it, and they were so slow that I had these guys take over and finish the project. So it's like,
Good job, guys.
so they were really impressed with their skills and were able to do it much more efficiently. So very happy with the team we have. We did this all with very minimal downtime. We started after the school day was done and just kind of did it a closet at a time. I don't think a lot of people realized the upgrades were even happening. There was one day that February 19th, that we were offline for a little while, but I was very happy with how that project rolled out. Very minimal downtime, 80% funded by our E-rate application. So a very cost-effective tool that was really a good solution to have in place. Next thing I wanted to do was talk about Newline interactive flat panels. This time I'm going to call Chris Schuckart up to talk a little bit about his experience. We put one at the high school in his classroom because he was having trouble with his smartboard. So I'm going to let him talk about his experience with that.
In fact, my students called it the stupid board because every time I turned it on in the morning, I had to readjust the focal points. It was dim. It was hard to see. That wasn't so much the smart board's problem as it was the projector. If anybody's ever been in a room and a projector bulb goes out, it's like a shotgun blast going off. And I was told basically you can't get a new bulb until that happens. So we lived in fear every day of that going off as it got darker and dimmer and dimmer. The Newline board, I think, is that a Newline board back there? I mean, you can see the vivid brightness of it. I don't have to turn the lights off in my room for the kids to see the board. It's so much wider than a smart board, so that kids even on the side of the room, they're not leaning like this to try to see what's going on. And that's even before you get to the interactiveness of it. I can pull student work up on it, and we can peer edit in front of the whole class. In 60s Lit, we do some film watching, and so again, it's almost like sitting in a movie theater as they're analyzing this film. It's just a great tool. The whiteboard capability of it, you can write all over it, and then it basically saves that image for you. So if you've got multiple classes repeating themselves during the day, you don't have to recreate the notes that you're going to use or skeleton forms that you're going to have kids follow along with. And so it's just a great tool that way. The other nice thing about it is that since it's got that onboard computer, I go in and I log in the morning, and I don't have to worry about my email notifications popping up on the board. And that was always a threat with being connected to the smart board. And I'm not sure if it was the length of the cable with the smart board and the projector before, but about once a day, there would be some kind of a gremlin attack, and then it would switch, and whatever screen it decided to put up on the smart board was there. Well, that never happens now with the Newline board. The other really nice tool about it is that I share my classroom with another instructor, and so when she comes in, all she has to do is log in to that Newline board and can start teaching right away without having to worry about plugging in her laptop into the projection system. So it's a great tool. So thank you for allowing me to have one.
Thank you.
Yep.
Another item that I wanted to mention here was some digital signage. We've recently put some new digital signage in at the middle school here, and I'm working with Brian on some at the high school. So I think that's another new technology piece that's really nice to see and very good about communicating schedules and menus and all that stuff through. So back to the Newline interactive flat panels. We have a need to upgrade about 90 classrooms with this newer technology. We already have this in place at Parkside and Southview Elementary, but we need to outfit the middle and high school. I've been working with the middle and high school principals and Dion to kind of look at a plan to budget these for the next maybe 3 years that we look at upgrading this classroom technology in those classrooms. So wanted to mention that and wanted some testimony on the benefits of having that newer technology in the classroom. I think it's really great. The next slide, I'm going to talk a little bit about the Minnesota Whole Estate Cybersecurity Plan. This is a plan that was put out by Minute, which is a state organization for IT. We participated as an early adopter in this program. With this, we had access to some newer technology tools that are available through the grant. It is a multi-million-dollar grant that's available throughout the country. Minnesota's plan is to use this whole of state cybersecurity grant to fund that and to access that. We're one of 98 education customers that are part of the early adopter program. The early adopter program is fully funded until August 2nd, so I figured why not? It's fully funded. The tools are very modern and very relevant. Their program has 4 main goals. One is to mature the cyber capabilities throughout the state, increase participation in programs and services known to work, collaborate and share information throughout the state, and strengthen the cyber resiliency of critical infrastructure. And education is identified as critical infrastructure. So,
What happens when the funding is done in August? Do we
yeah, that's a really good question.
need some money?
Yep. I'm not sure if we'll continue with this plan or not. The funding that they're projecting right now is expected to be around $18 a device per year. For our district, that's a pretty sizable number. I don't know if that's going to work or not. We'll see what their final number looks like when they get to that point. And I do think it is a good program. The tool that I seen, I made a mistake in my slide. It's CrowdStrike, not CloudStrike. So CrowdStrike is a tool that monitors the environment 24/7. So there's people that are looking at it 24/7. So if an event happens at 3 a.m, they are on top of it and take care of it prior to us waking up and realizing that this is a problem. So that's a really good benefit of it, is that it's monitored 24/7, and they're always looking at those logs. And their claim is that they've never had a cyber incident that has scaled out to a major breach. So that is what I have for now. Thank you.
Thanks, Todd.
Any questions? All right.
Okay, moving on to our consent agenda. The motion,
So moved. Second?
there's been a motion by Sarah Runchin, seconded by Sarah Brink to approve our consent agenda. I'll call for the vote. And that is approved. Next item is board updates or reports. I have one from the Southwest West Central Service Co-op, as we learned at the last meeting about the asbestos issue at the college. We did meet last week and voted to approve the amount. The estimate was $485,000 to fix that.
Clarify, that was a service co-op board.
Right. Yeah, not we, sorry. I'm on that board too, so. Okay, the Service Co-op Board met last week to approve that. However, we did direct the Executive Director, Cliff Carmody, to continue to have conversations with the college if they would help us pay, because we feel like especially the asbestos cleanup portion, which is about $220,000, should be their responsibility, and they haven't come back with a response yet. So that's
Whose
where
responsibility, Matt?
we think it's the college's responsibility because it's still their building.
Yeah.
So we're still having conversations with them, so. But the good news is it's not going to affect our timeline. We'll still be on schedule to get it open next August, September, so. That's all I got. Anybody else have anything? Next item is our discussion items. First review of policies 416 to 419. Any questions on those? The next discussion item is second review of policies 411 to 415. Any discussion on those? Next item is our board action item, recommendation to increase self-funded health insurance premiums. I will make a motion.
Second.
Motion by myself and seconded by Bill to approve this. You want to run through this a little bit, Dion? or-
Yeah, just a few things to point out. So we had a couple of insurance committee meetings with NIS, our National Insurance Service. They're our insurance consultant. And as you guys know, we went self-insured last year. That was to try and control our premiums internally, having the option of what we feel like our increase needs to be with the claims that are being submitted. So just a couple of things. One is the national average is around 8 to 9%. Again, everything is dependent upon the claims that are put in compared to our premiums. And so it's estimated that we should be able to do a 13% increase and keep our fund balance close to zero. We don't need to make a profit off of it. Obviously, if we go higher, then we would just adjust that the next year. A couple of notes on it. One is they did, NIS did go out and get an estimate. If we were fully insured, we'd be looking at around a 23 to 25% increase. So being able to be self-insured and only looking at our employees and our claims, we feel like it was still the right decision to do. And then also, per state statute, every 2 years we have to go out to bid. So next year we will still, even though we're self-insured, we'll go out to bid to see what our premiums are at. I did attach the increases MPS has had over the last 15 years. And we've done really well. Like everything else, everything's increasing quite a bit. So honestly, we're pretty happy with the 13%.
Thanks for your work with that, Dion.
Okay, there's a motion on the table by myself and seconded by Bill Swope to approve the health insurance rate increase. Any further discussion or questions? I will call for the vote. And that is approved. Our next item is similar to approve the dental premiums on the insurance. I'll make a motion.
Second.
You want to discuss this?
Yeah, just along the same lines, you can see the dental history increases we've had. We don't do an increase every year. We try to kind of offset that a little bit. We are self-insured, so we want to make sure that we're being responsible when it comes to increases. Our balance is right around 30,000, so we feel like that's a healthy balance, but it's been, I think, a couple of years since we've had an increase. So, and you can see the increase over the last 15 years is around 3.34%. So 10% increase is where we feel we need to be at.
Thanks, Dion. There's a motion by myself and a second by Sarah Brink to approve the dental health premiums. Any further discussion? I'll call for the vote. That is approved. Meeting adjourned to the floor for our work session.